Hello, everyone. Good morning. Happy spring. Here it is, new moon time to create and look forward to this month. It's a beautiful month. I'm going to I just was stretching this morning, my morning stretches, which I'll share with you a little bit more. And I just wrote this. Many years ago, I realized that the universe had messages and energy coming to me, and that nature spoke to me, and I listened, and I started connecting with the days and the seasons and the years and the cycles. And my body, if my body wasn't right, it was also giving me message about how I could correct my life and find new balance. So to me, that's about the energy of things. And listening to our body's messages is a way to approach health, and really staying attuned inward and outward. And we'll get into that as we go. I'm partly a Western medicine practitioner, and what I'm doing today is looking at things that are really outside of that realm, all the other systems that I've studied. And when we don't look at the messages and look at how do we correct what's going on, the illnesses and symptoms we have, we treat them, we suppress that potential conflict and fight that's going on in us, and we don't heal. And those things stay in our tissues in our body. So let's kind of work from there. That's a good place to start. I am going to share my screen and do it in a big way. So here we are. So everything is energy. We're starting there. So here we are. Just put your feet on the ground, get into a receptive zone, take a breath, feel like your body's stretching, even do some stretches while you're listening. That's great. Open to the sunshine, open to the air, get outside, breathe, connect with the earth, connect with the trees, the flowers, and everything. So there we go. So energy in life is energy. There's a lot that we can't see. What is our higher calling? Is it our spirit or our religion or God, or what do you connect with? But health is really about not just the lack of symptom, but really having a sense of vitality and energy. And energetic imbalances come before physical imbalances, and our mind and our heart and our stress affects that energy in our body. So there's a lot of forces that happen. Everything, as I said, energy is vibrational. It's in our body, it's in our channels, it's in our chakras, it's in our mind, it's in our heart. And this is where we want to connect. We want to align all these different areas: mind, body, heart, and spirit. And this together becomes us. Most of us at times, or all the time, live more mentally, or we live more emotionally, or spiritually. So where's that balance for you? That's a good place to look at. So we need to manage our energies, because it's very easy to waste our energy. It's our commodity, it's our resource. When we're young and full of energy, we have lots to burn out. A lot of people have too much energy at times. They have to go running, they have to go someplace and relax, and it's hard. I see a lot more people who have fatigue, but I see a lot of people who are overstimulated. They can't sleep, they can't stop their mind. That's a way that we lose. We look at, do we have energy leaks? Finding that lifestyle balance is really the key to staying healthy. So here's your energy. It's really as I say, your valuable resource. So you can read this. It's your currency, how you negotiate in the world. It's the energy. There's energy. That's all of our different parts. So connect with the green now. This is green time and springtime. So we're going to take a breath. Let's see, I'm going to take a little moment here. And all right, so one of the things I want to do, and part of what I've been working with and teaching with patients and with everyone, is to, connect with our breath. And I want you all to kind of bring your right hand up, or you can choose your left hand, either one. And you're slowly going to bring it in toward your center, your heart. And just start to feel, close your eyes a little bit, and just feel when you have a little tingling, when you feel your energy field, feel the field. And that's a place where you can connect. You can do that all over your body. You have energy surrounding you. And when you don't feel well, your energy is going to be much closer in. But when you really feel strong and vital, you might feel that energy way out here, like a foot from your chest. And you can do it with both hands. You can do it, all over your body. And it's just bringing energy in. When we do, qigong and other kinds of exercises, we're really working with that energy. We're taking the cosmic energy and bringing it into us. We're taking the energy coming into our mind and our third eye and all that. So to me, that's important to do. I do that when I get up in the morning. I work on my belly and I kind of just breathe and just just land in my body. I get up pretty early, but then I usually lie in bed and read and all that. So I'm going to come back to a few slides again. All righty. So evolutionary healing is about getting everything flowing. It's about growing. It's about learning. Let's see, I want to double check. Okay. It's about moving energy through our channels, through our chakras, through our meridians, through our emotional body even. But therapies, qigong, meditation, acupuncture can all help move this flow here. So this slide I actually want to read to you because I wrote this. Why evolutionary healing? Why am I doing this? Why do I call it evolutionary healing? Because I realized, I've been saying for a long time, we come to Earth as individuals who to learn and grow and become our complete selves, our true selves. And we don't do that. I mean, look, we're put into school early. We have tons of stuff to do. We equate ourselves with those who have knowledge and all that, and wisdom. Wisdom comes usually after knowledge, but it can come anytime. So we all need to learn, grow, and evolve while we are here on Earth for our moment of life. And I count my days. I live it. I don't, I told myself the other day I was exercising. I said, I don't know if I'm going to be here 100 days or 1,000 days or 10,000 days. So hopefully I have some more days because, I like it. Even with the chaos of the world, it's still, I'm still appreciating being here. The support of a group, part of our classes is the group, like-minded people is great for our growth. And we're going to tune into subtle inner energies, outer energies, and really stay attuned to our creative and evolving lives. So this is a slide from our first class, which if you haven't seen that, you can go. We'll send information on how to link to that. The first class, it was January 29th. But disease is a block in energetic flow. And it's resisting our growth. Basically, it's a resisting healing, and we need new insights to make the changes to support ourselves. Imbalances in our body come from climates. So when it's really hot and dry or cold and wet, that can throw off the body balance. And the emotions, that's from traditional Chinese medicine, which I write a lot about in Staying Healthy with the Seasons, is the climates, the external harms or the internal harms are when we get too extreme in one of those areas. Also, obviously, people have injuries and accidents, and that's a factor too. So the topic of today is energy medicine. How do things that we can't really see that do exist, how do they affect us? Can we tune into that? We can measure energies, of course. We can measure, person by Wi-Fi and all that. So, but we want to really work with our chi, our energy, our breath, our prana, and we're incorporating spirit and mind and body as well. So this is kind of a fascinating photo there. If you've seen, I don't know if I call it a tiger owl or what, but So we do want to balance our inner world and outer world. Many of us are busy and active, and we don't pay attention to that inner resources and inner richness that we all have. This visual on the right is basically an example of a person looking and evaluating their emotion, spirit, body, etc. So that's not really relevant so much to here, other than we do want to look at our entire lives, and we'll get into that in a minute. But we do want to find the balance. How much inner time do we need? Do we need that quiet? Do we need to spend time in nature? We do want to breathe. We want to breathe, ideally we're walking. My son Orion has been teaching me about and others about just nose breathing through your nose. When we're doing our stretches in Qigong, we're mainly breathing in and out through our nose. We want to meditate. We want to keep our exercise up. So there's all these. How is your balance between your outer world and your activities and your inner resources? So we have visuals. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. Socrates from way back. So we do want to pay attention to our energy. As I said, fatigue is one of the more common problems I see in practice, and that's an end result. It's just like, is your car running down the road well? If it's not running well, then you are figure out why. So when I'm evaluating people, I'm doing lab work and looking at thyroid and blood count and anemia and viruses and everything like that, what's going on. But the bold second line here, how we spend our energy is our choice and allows whether we have a healthy lifestyle or not. So that has to do with what we're eating, whether we're stressing, how we're sleeping, what about our exercise and our mental state is. But overall, it's our overall lifestyle, and we connect with all these different parts of us, and we want to look at how can we maintain and build our energy. So part of it comes from our attitude. Beautiful slide. Thank you, Janet, for that. To enhance this PowerPoint with lots of beautiful visuals. So what affects you? What do you watch and listen to? How much news and things that are you taking that are upsetting you? Does that affect your attitude toward the world? If we're paying attention to the last couple of years of pandemic and war, I mean, we're scared of the world. We should be a little scared. If we kind of stay in our own attunement and do what we can to keep our own world and community, optimal. If we can stay happy and hopeful, even though we can't totally change the world, we can change ourselves though. To get plenty of rest and good nourishment. And as possible, keep your thoughts and your imagery, how you think, what you see. I mean, it's very easy to worry and have negative aspects. One of my friends and teachers, Marty Rossman, one of his books is called The Worry Solution. Most of the things we think about and worry about are never come to pass. So part of what we're doing and what I want to help everyone work with is to develop a new attitude and a point of view. Life has everything in it, from Bruce Lipton, but you only see what your perception allows you to see. So when you start to really tune in more subtly, more deeply, you connect with energies that you might not have before. So when I was living out in the country, learning about really being a more natural doctor and herbalist and energy doc and working with the mind, I saw that things open up. I started to see things I didn't see before. And that's when I started tuning into nature a bit more and all that. So moving energy, we do that through our breath. Everyone just take another deep breath, connect, put your feet on the floor, let your jaw relax and do that. Doing stretching and exercise. If you're not stretching every day, you are, undermining your potential health. You're going to allow much more to get stuck when you start to tune in. If you get massage and body work, if you get acupuncture, it can move you. So stay tuned to that energy. You don't have an energy store to go through, other than some people think that's their local cafe. because people get energy from caffeine, other drugs, and but really we get the most energy from nature, green, lots of green juices, lots of green support. So Robert, Spirit Boxer, is my teacher for martial arts, and he's been doing it a long time. And so grounding, centering, releasing, recalibrating. So I'm going to play a short, hopefully this will work here. So what about the importance of having a daily practice?
Key. So you get your sleep, you wake up, what's the first thing you do? It sets your intention, it sets your energy for the day, right? And it's about regulation. It's that fundamental blueprint of self-care that we were talking about, right? So that in that way, you can be self-resourced. We do need people, but at a certain point, we're by ourselves, right? Self-regulated. Again, our energy. Can we be grounded and balanced? It doesn't mean that we don't run the juice sometimes, but at a certain point, we have to be able to regulate. And self-soothing. Can we actually be medicine to ourselves, in quietness? And it's also based on good relationships as well, right? The people we have around us. But daily practice is the key. It's the thing that gives us the ability to do everything else. If your battery is depleted, if your emotions are destabilized, if your mind's spinning, very hard to navigate the world in a balanced, grounded, reasonable place, right?
So when you say centered in yourself, then the chaos of the world doesn't affect you quite as much. You can.
The more grounded you are, the more you have the ability to have agency over how you respond to what's going on around. Because the world's going to do what it's going to do, right? Why is it on some days that like you're feeling good, you're resourced, you're feeling joyful, something comes up and it's like, that would normally destabilize you and you're like, small stuff. And other days, it really gets to you. If you're not resourced, if you don't have a regular daily practice, it's just really easily to be destabilized. So it really is an inside job and it doesn't happen overnight. The other really good thing is it builds up your self-confidence. It's just a healthy way to build up your self-confidence, right? Every day you're like, wow, I'm being good to myself. I'm being disciplined. Whether it's 15 minutes or 3 hours, regularity and consistency is the silent strength. It will heal you and improve you even against your own will.
Well, thank you, Robert, for that. And it's a very strong message. So Robert's been my mentor for what he teaches, the 8 elemental Taoist longevity exercises, which are basically just a way to connect with your body and your energies and open up. I do it every morning before I go to work or whenever. And, I was out in the sun this morning and I get inspired from that. So one of the things we'll be doing in the Evolutionary Healing course is teaching and sharing the discipline of those very simple stretches. Several people on the call today are stretching with us, and it's just valuable to find it. It doesn't have to be that. I also have my good friend Barry Robbins. We grew up together in Michigan. He teaches the kata, which was developed by George Leonard and Michael Murphy, and that's another series of energy yoga, stretching, qigong work. And to me, some of these kinds of practices are really valuable. So I'm going to come back again. And here we go. All right. Oh, this is a nice collage from Janet again. So this is me on Om Times in Ghana, Africa. My name there was Yao Jata, which is Thursday born lion. This is actually in the tribe that we were with. This is me dancing, and Orion and Ishara, my 2 children, and Max, my son-in-law. And we had a good time working in Ghana. This is a good 10 years ago, 2010, I think we were there. So, the more of us that can find peace within, the better that will influence the world. So here's talking about peace medicine. This is something I'm developing. I've been doing for much of my career, but I have a long article that that will be shared as part of the course about how to get beyond the internal and external war, the attack and conquer approach that we have in politics and medicine, and agriculture and food production. We got, we use chemicals and to get rid of germs, to fight things in the body. We fight cancer, we fight infection, etc. We fight pandemics. And is there other ways that we can improve by harmonizing and rebalancing in our body? Part of it is what I mentioned in the beginning. If we start to get the message about what our symptom or illness is about, then we can start to address what is the healing in that. And part of my work, guiding people in dream work, etc., is to look at what is the healing. And it's not about necessarily something we can do. It's maybe a way for us to be, or maybe we need to go retreat. But it's bringing peace to all the different parts: spirit and body, mind and heart. So, and we all need a little more peace in our life, especially at this time with, pending wars and, powers that are affecting us all, decisions by a country or our country, causing stress in a lot of people. And we definitely, these last couple of years have been, never in our lifetimes have we seen anything quite like that. And it's so very confusing as to what's true in the world right now. But centering in our body, through the physical and mental exercises at the core. And that's why that daily practice, with the goal of inner peace, calming yourselves, moving the energy inside. Because if you move your energy, you won't get stuck. Those stuck things are what gets suppressed and get into our tissues and cause the muscles to be tight and all that. So learning some kind of meditation or stress management is very helpful to that. Here's our friend John Lennon. Peace is not something you wish for, it's something you make, something you do, something you are, and something you give away. And imagine that. So I had to pull out a little quote from Imagine All the People Living Life in Peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will be as one. No, bring tears to my eyes, but it's probably one of the more beautiful songs ever written. So come back to staying healthy with the seasons, some of the guidance or wisdom that, I wouldn't say channeled, but almost, that I really listened after I studied traditional Chinese medicine and herbs and natural therapies and Western medicine and all those things. I said, this stuff should all fit together. And that's what I did in the 70s with my great friend and associate, Bethany Argyle, who's I think on the call here, and one of our teachers, is to look at the different seasons and the messages. I started writing newsletters for the local paper on, oh, it's spring, what do we do now? And that incorporates natural, Eastern, and Western, my new medicine approach. And I just did an interview on new medicine that went out in the recent newsletter, my Elson Haas MD.com newsletter. And if you're not signed in for that, you can do that, and then you'll be getting things monthly. So we have the different seasons. I'm not going to go into that so much, but other wisdom, that illness represents an invitation to change. We create our body by listening, staying in harmony with nature and the seasons, and listening to our own guidance. When we start to take over because of fear or worry or a domination from one of our aspects of ourselves, because we're all multifaceted, then we start to get other ones kind of complaining. And that's a lot of the stuff during our work with guided imagery. It's a lot of what happened. People get out of touch with a part of themselves that can cause their symptoms. So these inner selves, our anima or animus, this is from the Jungian work, is giving us messages, and we're not listening. So it's creating it through the body, through the symbolic aspect of disease. So this whole approach is important for our health. All right, so more is, we all have a path, and we have our program, and we're part of a greater whole, and we also need to take care of the body. If we don't take care of our body, then we're going to have disease, and that comes from being out of touch with our inner direction. So we got to stay in touch with that daily. And I see so many people, men and women who have in their 40s or 50s, the beginning of chronic diseases, some run in their families, some just are from their poor lifestyle, but all of it is affected by the way they live, breathe, eat, exercise, sleep, stress, and love. So when you kind of have all those things working, your body's going to stay healthier, and that's the price. So stay connected to nature and yourself. So what I write here: illness is not necessary, daily attunement is. All right, from Robert, and after our last session out in the backyard here, this is the wood element. So we're in the spring, the wood element. We're going to send our roots in. We're thinking there's a new moon now, so we're going to be working with the lunar cycle to work on our creative powers. This is a time where you plant your seeds to think about what I want to see happen this coming year. The sun and moon are together in our sky, and that's when the masculine and feminine are like in harmony. So, part of healing has to do with what I call, from alchemy studies, is the mystical marriage, when your masculine and feminine, the active and receptive sides, are in harmony and getting along. So we send our roots in, but healthy life is about strong roots, stable trunk, and flexible branches. That's if we're like trees. If we're like other plants, we eventually get fragrant flowers. That takes longer, and some fruits, some juicy fruits, tasty fruits. Hopefully have local, produce and maybe a garden. But it starts with planting good seeds and watering with loving kindness. All right, another breath. Take another breath here, because now I want to go through a few different energy systems that I have embraced and feel connected to, and I think have matter. Yeah, they're not as as strong as some other things, but this is to me important. So we're going to go through this in general. So chakras, this is an image from our original chakras shirt that Bethany and I designed with our friend Janelle, and we have a couple different versions of this shirt, but they're energy centers, in our lower center, our emotional body, our solar plexus, our heart, and our up and down the spine. And this is kind of the serpent that moves up and down through us. So there are energy spots. There are places where we can block energy. I mean, I see so many people with digestion issues or pelvic and bladder issues. It's usually because there's blocks of the energy. There's too much energy. From natural and Chinese medicine, there's a problem from either too much or too little. And it might be in general too much energy or too little energy, or differently, it might be one place is blocked and there's too much energy. It's like a river that gets dammed and it starts to flood and go all over. So, so we have our base, our emotional and sexual centers, our spiritual and third eye. Ideally in our throat chakra is how we express. And we want to, the better our heart energy moves through our throat and out and up into our open 6 and 7 chakras, our third eye and our crown. The stronger we are here, the more open we are to the spiritual subtle energies. And there's also other levels of chakras too. One of my guest interviews will be with Anna Dea Judith, my good friend, who's written a number of books on chakra and chakras and yoga. And she's got some beautiful stuff out there. So I'll look forward to that. She's interviewed me a few times on her classes. So one of the things that I've looked at from back almost 40 or 50 years ago is relationships have to do with, how do you align in your chakras? Is your mental connection? Is there a sexual connection? Is it spiritual? So it can be physical, emotional, and mental. Do you have work? Your minds collaborate. So when you start to be close with someone, how much of those are in harmony and how much are not? And, to me, that's a way to evaluate. If you find someone that you really feel, can line up at, all your areas, that's like, a pinball machine going off. It starts to, light you up a little bit, and you can share with each other. And obviously there needs to be love and respect and support, but, that's part of it. And, one of the things I'll be exploring in my course is evolutionary relationships. How do we do that? How do we how do we stay friends no matter what? How do we, there's so many questions. How do we learn how to fair fight? That's in my new medicine book. That's one of my favorite, topics when I talk to patients who I see as couples or aren't getting along well. So next is color. So we're dealing with energy. Color is everywhere, and we'll see. So just take a breath, let that rainbow come into you, feel all those colors come in, move through your body, feel that love there. Come on. So let's say, so color it's vibrational. It's not good or bad. I mean, one of the things about this chart is it's relating kind of emotional patterns to some of these colors, but they're not good or bad colors. They're all potential, but they can affect our state. All right, so basically color is frequency vibration. Color and light, sound are all connected in their vibrations per second, frequency per second. Colors are, there's a lot more to it than we see. It plays an important part in our lives. That really we can use colors to balance us. Some people wear different colored glasses. Some people do color therapy where they're exposed. You can drink water out of colored glasses. You can set water in a colored glass, and so there's subtle. It's all subtle, but we have light and energy that kind of can get in the way of that. So again, it's vibration, frequency. It's every color has energy to it. Has a lot of correspondences to it. So as I said, we can balance with that. But what colors, is there a color that you're weak in or one you're attracted to more? We have our 7 kind of main colors that kind of tie into the chakras: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo violet, or, even ultraviolet, high violet. So color in your lives, how do you use that? You're like our little, not a cornucopia, but a corny rainbow there. These are all corn seeds. So what are you attracted to? Are there colors you don't like? And, why might that be? But we have colors surrounding us in our home and what we choose to wear. In nature, we're gravitated, this is time to connect with the green. Also what we eat, our colors. I mean, I could say easily eat the rainbow. I mean, that's kind of what we have been saying nutritionally, healthy nutrition writers and teachers are saying, eat your vegetables, eat those colors. I think out of all the different kinds of diets around the world, there's not one that says don't eat your fresh veggies. So to me, that's the start of a good nutrition. And I've been teaching about nutrition for 40 plus years, and learning about it myself. And that's, to me, the common factor is 50% veggies. If you just start your diet like that, it's going to help a lot. So it also looks at our elemental composition, like traditional Chinese medicine and astrology. What is our element? What sign were we born under? What's our moon and rising? What are those elements? Are we strong in certain elements or not? So, and every element has energy. If you want to get into that deeper, read Staying Healthy with the Seasons. So, all right, so here's a chart that is from page 88 of Staying Healthy with the Seasons. When we send out a recording and the follow-up email from this class, we'll send a copy. We'll send a link to this page so you can look at it. And if you have Staying Healthy with the Seasons, the more recent version, it's in there on page 88. So you see that colors, the musical notes, the chakras, all line up, and then these are some of the effects of the colors and the problems that you can treat, balance. Obviously, if you have inflammation and you have hot areas, you can use blue color, or you use cool water, so, and the same, if you need stimulation, you use more heat. So what about sound? So sounds are vibrations as well. We have the notes, C, D, F, G, A, B. I also play a shakuhachi flute, which is a 5-note scale. So it's a different quality, and they fit together, not always, perfectly note scale. So sound and color are all vibrational tuning forks I've been using a long time. We started doing a sound, like we call the sonopuncture back early on when I was studying about healing in the early 70s, mid 70s. And then I started using tuning forks and acupuncture together and called it sonopuncture. And I was give people tune-ups and did body work and tuning forks. So to me, it's a way to move the energy. Again, we talked about moving energy through the body. So that's a good part of it. So sound, there's a lot, and that's gotten popular in the last 20 years or so, the sound and tuning fork work. So here's this is the acupuncture t-shirt, again from Season Studios that Bethany and I designed way back. And the meridians are the pathways, energy pathways. They're more subtle pathways. But they are where acupuncturist, traditional Chinese medicine practitioner will tap into that and use points to help rebalance the body. So the channels relate to hollow organs like bladder and gallbladder and small intestine, large intestine, or solid organs like spleen, liver, lungs, heart, and kidneys. So those are the different ways. So there's also the back has a lot of meridians too. So we have energies moving through our body. Let's talk about cycles a little bit. And the chi energy, these are the times of the day. And this is, if you're studying traditional Chinese medicine or, working with my Seasons book, you can look at that. Like say, if you're someone who wakes up this 3 to 5 in the morning, so here, the lung time, and you get up and you're worried about that. You may have too much energy in your lung meridian. If someone was to treat you and start to shift the energy a little bit in your body, that might help rebalance that. Your digestion is strongest in the morning, morning and early afternoon, less so at night. So there's a lot of things you can tell from this, but every 2 hours through the day, it moves through where there's a stronger energy in that particular organ or meridian and a weaker one than the opposite one. So 3 to 5, or maybe bladder, kidney, is a strong time there and a weaker time in the middle of the night. If your lungs are too strong, your kidneys might be a little low. So there's a lot of different combinations there. So the body rhythms also, the body has a lot of rhythms. Just made those key ones red. Hopefully you can see that. So our first rhythm is our breath. So again, relax, let your jaw relax again. I often put my tongue on the roof of the mouth while I'm breathing, not when I'm talking too much. So, and you breathe in through your nose, you're breathing in oxygen, you're exhaling carbon dioxide, which is our exchange with our planet, the plants on our planet. When you go stand in a forest, you feel the oxygen, a slightly increased level of oxygen, because the greenery, lets out oxygen. It uses carbon dioxide. Your heartbeat, every heartbeat is a rhythm. It's your internal drum beat. You use oxygen and nutrients. You send it all through your body. Your heart is, obviously a key organ. Your cells also have a rhythm. They grow, they divide, they mature, then they move on. So we're creating cells all the time. Sandra Barrett, one of my associates who we taught an immune class a year or two ago, she's written a lot about cells and the way we connect with our cells, and she's got several books out. And hormones have rhythms too, and that's something that I work a lot with patients, and especially as we move into our age, later years, and we need to connect with, do we need to support hormonal levels. So I think we don't have time for really individual questions, but you can type something into the chat if you want. Neil will kind of screen that a little bit. But here's what I suggest on our evolutionaryhealing.online, no .com. Evolutionaryhealing.online is a beautiful landing page with lots of info, more in detail about peace medicine and all these other topics. Go to the top and click contact, and then you can send a question if you have about today's class or about the course that is coming up that I'll share with you a little bit about. So those are all areas. activate or navigate, the interaction with me and my team. So I'm going to be your guide on this 3-month evolutionary journey. I said birthday almost because it's the beginning. I think this is a Costa Rica journey, but anyway, I've been a journeyer for a while, but I've been mostly home and taking care of patients for the last few years, so I haven't got a chance to play too much. So what's in this evolutionary healing course? It's basically a lot of content, a lot of unique information that will come. It's a full class and a follow-up with personal interaction for those of you who join in. We'll look at ancient healing practices as well as new things, and it's all about personal growth and learning and growing and evolving and becoming our full self. So this is, to me, what I'm really offering, and it's like something that I've not put off, but it's just something I've incorporated, and it's just beyond what I've typically taught, which is family and integrative natural medicine, nutrition and detox, and Chinese medicine, and all those things that I've been teaching for 40 plus years. So this is 3 months. It starts like at 1 o'clock here. Symbolism and Synchronicity is our first month. It's the class starts on April 30th. It's going to go a month. So all of May is this topic, and we'll talk about the messages of the universe, messages of the healing process. Then we're going to get into in June our elemental personality. We'll look at astrology. I'll go through that in a minute, and then so we have May, June, July is cycles and seasons, which will go into more depth about the wisdom that comes from paying attention to nature. And then the plan is that August month is off, and then September, October, and November are principles of healing, flow of energy, mood and energy healing. Look at fatigue, insomnia, anxiety, depression, that whole constellation of mood and energy issues. And then December's off, and then January, February, and March is these last 3 topics, which are maybe a little more esoteric and looking, but very practical for you. And we're all going to be working on our creative activities. So as I said, May is symbols. It's a little bit of a cosmic title, but it's about how do we sense, how do we tune in to the reality of our life and the messages we get, and how do we stay fluent with that and interactive with that? Can we be flexible? Are we able to change? At my age, it's like, I'm still working on it. I'm working on my evolution. I'm working on staying in a place of love. And, that's really what I want to share with everybody. So we have to, we all have to deal with our past at some level, but we get present. As one of my friends always said, don't correct your past, correct your future. So if you have issues from before, if you can change how those are, you can do a little hypnotherapy and pull those weeds out of you. And that's what we did in my course. Weight release program was about doing hypnotherapy and working on our emotional relationship to food, basically. So change your thinking, change your life. So we're going to work with numbers a lot too, and it's one of my fascinations, and we'll be doing an interview or 2 with different people who work with numerology, and I have too myself. But in the first class, we talked about going through and looking at the 1 through 9 pattern and all the different aspects of our life, and we'll be doing this every month as part of the new moon creativity aspect, where we're going to be evaluating these different areas of our lives and where our strengths and weaknesses are. So to me, that's very valuable. I do that on my birthday. I do that on January 1st. I look at that, but I also look at it every month, and that's something that we'll be working on together and providing you materials to help support you in that process. June is looking at who are you? What's your potential? To me, I always look at people's astrology a little bit. I'm not an astrologer, but I know a lot about it, and I've studied it since I did my first chart in 1969, I think. But sun, moon, and risings are a fact. It's not just your sun sign. You can't go by that. Bethany and I have worked with, and she's going to be sharing some of this about her cycles and your card. So the day of the year that you're born has a specific playing card that has a relationship with all the other cards and all the other people. And it's a very fascinating system that's pretty in depth. And then we're going to look at, we're going to look at attitudes. We're going to look at where our attention goes and how can we bring our awareness up. If you're watching the news and you're living out of fear and worry, that's something that's undermining your own health potential. And you learn to, make a decision on what works and what doesn't work for you. And we're going to also, in this month, we're going to really go into training a little bit for energy stretching, Qigong practice. That'll help you kind of stay and keep that core strength going on, as Robert talked about earlier, about the importance of a daily practice to keep you going. So this is another image from Season Studios. So it's Western astrology shirt. We also have Chinese astrology and Hawaiian astrology, where all the moon signs. So I love these mandalas that we have done many years ago that we're looking to get back in print again. So how does the movement of the planets affect us? I think more about that than I do astrology and the meaning, but they're all factors, and the planets and the interactions. That's what we'll look at too. And then July is the cycles and seasons, and we'll come back to tuning into nature and the patterns of that, and our daily rhythms, our seasonal rhythms, and all that. So seasons, I'll just take a breath as you kind of feel your, the whole year. And some of you are in places where you have real specific changes of seasons. But in the seasons, we'll also be talking about the doyo period. We just came out of the doyo of 20 days around the equinox and solstice. So we just got freed from that. Oftentimes there's a flip-flop in weathers. And we'll get into that. And the whole idea of staying healthy with the seasons is prepare ahead to adapt yourself to stay healthy in that next season, because those transition times are when people tend to get sick more easily. So here we have that. And then, as I said before, we're going to look at our creative aspects. We're going to track the moon cycle. We're going to track our own creative activities. We have some hints you can use. I'll encourage everybody to get a notebook so you can track your own aspects and your own activities. So, and we're all going to be looking at what's our best creative health program to follow, what lifestyle factors you need, what diet do we need, what exercise program is right. We're basically, and the whole idea of this over the next year, 9 months of education and support and connection, is that we become our new selves. So to me, that's the goal. And here's a beautiful message here, profound message from Ralph Waldo, that the acorn is the beginning. The seed is the beginning. So I'm giving you seeds of support for you to plant, and just talking about what we're doing. It's going to be an extensive class. It's going to be a mid-month meeting for those who want to come and go through coaching. We're going to have a lot of teachers. I'll share about them in a sec. A lot of unique materials. And we'll have an online community for you to kind of connect and interact with those others in the course, and to also learn and develop a daily exercise. Many of you are doing that already. This will be something to add to it, and something maybe that will shift your energy a little differently. So some of the guest teachers we have, we just showed, Marty Rossman, Barry Robbins, Bethany Argyle, Cooch Daniels, who's written a bunch of books, and she knows numbers and astrology and everything, and Anadea Judith. And here's a few photos. And that's Marty, who did a couple of KQED sessions, one on the healing mind. And Anadea is in the top middle, and Cooch is on the right. And then my friend Barry Robbins down below, and Bethany Argyle in the corner. And so that's our story. So, I guess I'm my own pitch, my own pitch person for this. So the price that we came up with for this 3-month course, $697. The next couple of weeks is $497 for those of you who want to sign up. If you want to pay monthly, then there's a price on that. You can learn a lot more about it and sign up through evolutionaryhealing.online. And so that's the story. So Evolutionary Healing online. So, and then also if you sign up, again, I don't like having to sell stuff, but to me, I want to do this, and I want all of you to do it as well, because I think there's something in it for all of us. But if you sign up in the next 3 days, you get, we'll send you a link, a code for getting into 2 other courses that I've developed. One is called the Weight Release Program, Healing Our Relationship to Food. It's got hypnotherapy, nutritional care, and Regain Your Natural Energy, or RINE we call it, which is about getting away from stimulants and sedation. Most people use caffeine and sugar, cannabis, alcohol. They overstimulate themselves, they sedate themselves, they don't. Anyways, a syndrome that I named called stimulation sedation syndrome, and that ties in a lot. So that's $300-400 worth of classes. And again, you can do that on evolutionaryhealing.online, and that's the thing. So let's see. So if there's any, okay, hi everybody. Sorry, I was in the slides there for a while. And so if there's any questions, you want to type anything into the chat, I can look at those and take a couple minutes. It's about, we still got a few minutes left. If anybody wants to come on live, you can unmute yourself and identify yourself. And I think I can figure that out. This is my first time I'm doing this without an actual host or hostess. And so there's a few little technical things that I might not be totally on top of.
Could you talk about hormonal changes?
Hormonal changes?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, I mean, we all have them, we lived through them at adolescence and growing up. And so, yeah, I mean, I think some people, it's a choice that every woman particularly has to make, but men too, because their hormones go down. And I have a lot of men who take testosterone or other, herbals to support their hormones. But it's a personal choice that women have. One of the things I was going to say also is, as part of the course, I realized that young people, people really from 15 to 30, there's a lot of content and things that we're going to share that I think will really help. The younger we are, the more potential help you have, because you have more years to apply it. So I'm offering actually an additional discount to people under 30 who want to come in, or any of you who have kids or friends that are less. So under 30 is additional 30% off of whatever the going price is.
So other than the sexual hormones, are there hormones to be attentive to when we're aging?
Of course, yeah. There's, for women, it's estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, even DHEA. For men, it's testosterone, and some men use, other things as well. So, okay, thank you. All right, so we've got a few messages there. And anybody else have anything they want to share? Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking through everybody here, see who's on. Okay. I'm going to do a gallery view. So, look at, I get to see everybody. Lots of beautiful people. All right, well, I think I will close and say farewell to everybody. And I wish you all well, and I look forward to seeing you again. April 30th is our next class, and I'll get ready for that and bring a lot of inspiring and meaningful content to you all. So blessings, happy spring, stay healthy.
Bye.